it like that. You can use JavaScript, but with the JavaScript we can use one more concept called jQuery. The jQuery is just extension of JavaScript. Suppose you want to add a special function for a particular ID or anything, so that time there is jQuery. And define and describe Ajax. So Ajax is one more option. Ajax is asynchronous JavaScript transmission, and it is for suppose whole page will be there. In that part of the data you want to update. For example, whole data in a one part. Suppose in a if you observe some photo websites or anything, there will be an option called ratings. Suppose if you give 3 stars, it will automatically change the average and all this. But all other pages, all other parts are same. Only that part is going to change. Suppose if you want to update like that, so that time we are using Ajax. So for Ajax, actually separate books is also there. After this web application, there is one more part, Ajax. So there we are going to discuss more about Ajax. So here they are explaining about how to use Ajax. First, they are starting with JavaScript. So how to use JavaScript for creating data. So JavaScript is nothing but it's a client-side scripting language that allows you to develop dynamic and interactive web applications. So it allows user applications, and it allows your web applications to respond to user requests without interacting with the web server. Suppose without going to a web server in a local system, in a client side, if you want to do some task or anything, so that time we are using JavaScript. It reduces the response time to deliver web pages faster. So if everything is JavaScript, the response time is faster because most of the process will run it in a client system. No need to connect with the server each time. So that's why it is faster. For example, anytime you are going to write any JavaScript, you should be having a data called script. Script. After you can write a function, script function. And if you are writing alert welcome user, so that time what happens? Welcome page will create with a basic alert box display. There is one simple way of creating your response. Simple way of adding HTML page.
Which ones?
Visual Studio. Empty, select basic.
MV50 or
when you are opening a new project, no, select basic. File project,
basic.
If you can't add it as per empty, basic or MVC library, so select the basic.
Okay. Controller. Home controller.
Okay, controller. You open a basic, it will show you normal like this controller. For adding a controller, right click, add controller, give any name, home or anything, make it as empty, okay? Don't select any other thing. Select the template is empty MVC controller. And give some name. For example, I'll give home. Okay, give the home controller and add. Same thing, whatever we did in the previous one, same thing. Controller, right click, home controller, set empty MVC. Suppose if I am taking from some other model and also that time we will see this MVC controller with 3 actions. But I am going to type each code so that I can produce empty MVC. And then click on add options. So once you add it, it will show you as home controller with this one, right? Then add a lead, right click, add lead. Okay. Here also just select add options. Once it is open, inside the page, save by default index name is there. Just I am adding one JavaScript function. This is JavaScript. So what I am doing here, click the alert box button. Okay. One paragraph I am just printing. Click the alert box button. After that I am inserting a button. On click means what? If you click on button, it should call some function. Which function has to call? That I am going to write it in a Java. Whenever you are writing any script inside a HTML code, it should be entered within a script tag. So that's why we are entering a script. And I am writing function, whatever the name I have given. So script function is the so just I wrote it as function. And if you click on that button, what it should do? I am writing here alert welcome user. Alert is nothing. Alert is a JavaScript function that is for popping up. Suppose if you click on that button, it will show you the alert pop transfer. So this is very basic JavaScript. All these things, all these examples were in first year. Run the file. You need to save and run the file. It will show you this is first index. Actually, just I am displaying head as index, so that's why it will display index. After click the alert box button first, I inserted this with a paragraph. The P paragraph. After that, I am inserting a button that contains alert box. So if you observe here, button is the alert box. And when you are writing here, I am writing on click script function. That means if you click on that function, it should call the JavaScript. This is a JavaScript. So whenever you are writing function script function. So if you click here, so it will show you welcome user because it is alert box. This is how actually JavaScript functions will be there. So generally we are going to write your functions or any script within a same HTML files. But in a standard web applications, it is not a valid way. Unoppressive JavaScript. Traditionally in a web applications, JavaScript is used in the same file in HTML code. Naturally, the HTML code and a JavaScript you are going to write it in a same file. For example, in a previous also, I wrote H1P and with the same type of script also I used. However, using JavaScript with HTML code is not recommended because in a web page, you should always separate the presentation format and the file. So that because this code and your presentation should be separated. In a HTML code, generally we prefer to use only the viewable content. There should not be any page methods. So as a solution, you can use unoppressive JavaScript to separate the JavaScript code from HTML markup. Suppose if you want to write it in another file, you can write it. So in this approach, to use JavaScript separately from HTML markups in our applications, code is stored in a file with the .js extensions. So you can create a JavaScript file and then you can create a .js extensions. So by default, whenever if you are opening any script, any new project with a basic option, so that time you will find an object called script. Okay. Inside the script you will find different content, jQuery 1.7, jQuery 1.7. So all these things are not, but all these files are actually JavaScript files, are unoppressive JavaScript files. These are predefined. So sometimes for a few functions we are going to directly use it from here. Suppose you are going to write your own JavaScript or a JavaScript. So that time you can create few JavaScript and you can store it in this part also. So these are predefined. You can add some more also. And you can also, every JavaScript query is having two files. Okay. 1.7.1.js, 1.7.1.min.js, okay. 1.8.20.js, 1.8.20.min.js. So that is nothing but same version with the two types will be there. One is full threads, one is minimized version. So So minimize is for less space. It will take less space or only fewer instruction will be there, and it is a lightweight instruction. 1.8.20 means it's a fully was all the content will be showed in 1.20. That is the difference between 1.8.20.js and 1.8.20.min.js. Mean that minimize instructions. So suppose if you are writing and store it in one script, if you want to use it in a HTML or in your CSS HTML file, how to add it? So just you can add it by using one code called as this script type is equal to script type, what type of script it is, and source, src is called source, which file you are going to use it as a source, script, source and script. For example, if it is a JavaScript, so that time you are going to write script type is equal to text/JavaScript, like this. You can also type text is equal to JavaScript, and the source is which source you are going to write. So that is at the script/script.js. So how to use it? So same function. For example, here I have this function. Okay. I don't want to use it in a same file. I want to separate this presentation logic separate and a script logic separate. Okay. So how to use it? So using that one, I can write this code in a separate JavaScript file. You can observe here, inside a script folder, there are lots of already predefined files are there. 1.8.2, 1.8.24, 8.24.in. So many files are there. So like that, you can add one more JavaScript. For example, I want to add it. I click add a new item. So if you scroll down, you will find the JavaScript. And JavaScript files. Okay, add new item JavaScript file. You can change it. For example, change it to text script. Okay, give the name text script. Add it. It will show you. We will add this text script.js file to open. Actually, your index page includes an instruction like this. So the index page includes these things. You have the data like this, function, script, function, something. Cut it. Cut this one and paste it in a text field. So whatever was there in the index page, after button some lines were there, no? Whatever I wrote, so just I moved it into text script.function. Okay, in the index page, after button click script, test script, some functions are there, just cut it and paste it in a test script.js and remove that script tag. That's all. Okay. Here what I am doing. So previously I have written JavaScript and HTML code both in a same page, but now I am just writing a jQuery or a JavaScript file in a separate file and a HTML code in a separate file. Done? Till here. Done? No? So now actually script function is in another file. It is in a test script function. And in the index page, I am just having index, click the alert box and a button on click. Few functions I have. Okay. But when you call script function, how it will identify? I need to call the function. It is in a test script function. That means I need to link these two files together. Okay. How to link? I I can link it by using one instruction. Okay, that is nothing but just write it. Okay, correct script. Okay, source src is equal to this negation is the numeric. It specifies within the current project. Go to script folder and set the test script of this. So this instruction it will link that this page is a test script of this.
Katabi ng one.
Easy.
Katabi ng one.
Ito.
Ayan. Sticky keys.
Shift. Then scripts.
That's why we wrote HTML code in a one page and the script in a JavaScript pages. Then we are going to connect. JavaScript file. There are some instructions about JavaScript libraries. JavaScript libraries is nothing but when you open a script, you will find a set of predefined function 1.8.0 those things. You are calling it as JavaScript libraries. When you create an exploited MVC application on Visual Studio, a script folder is automatically created with several JavaScript libraries. You can refer one of these libraries in a view and then use the functionalities provided by the library. If you observe jQuery 1.8.20, that they created for specific purpose. If you type it in a Google, what is the purpose of this one? It will show you all the functions, what are the functions you can do. And if you are going to use those functions, so that time, how you are going to use script. Now we use script JavaScript / text script 1, right? Similarly, if you are going to use already predefined function from those 1.8.20 or any other function, you should include those functions in a HTML pages. Okay, you should write it scripts / 1.8.20 means.js, so like that you need to include it. So the default JavaScript library files in Visual Studio provides two versions. Whenever if you are creating a JavaScript file, so you can observe here by default in my application, so scripts will be there. So each file or each library will give two versions: 1.8.2, 1.8.2.min, 1.8.2.24, 1.8.24.min. So each one will give you two options. So that's what they specify. One version is the main JavaScript library, and the another version is the minified version of the main JavaScript library. Min means minified versions, and the minified version contains the word min in their name. So the minified versions are smaller in size compared to their corresponding to the main version, as they do not contain any unnecessary characteristics such as white space, new line, and comments will not be there in a min version. But in a main version, all those things will be there. So that is the only difference between min and main. Okay. So the minified version provides the same functionalities as they corresponding to main versions. So there is no difference. Functionalities related to 1.8.20.js and 1.8.20.min.js both are same. So functionality there is no differences. The advantage of using minified version is that it helps to reduce the amount of data to be packaged in an application. Means the size will be reduced because they remove unwanted characters. So because of it, the size or the project size will be reduced. So the Visual Studio 2003 automatically will generate the following characteristics: files with PS doc word in their name are annotated to help Visual Studio to provide better intelligence. So automatically, whenever you create a function, these functions it will generate a PS doc functions, and it will files with a modernizer word in their name enable you to take the advantage of evolving web technologies. If you observe some of the functions, it will show you modernizer keyword. So it is also automatically generated, and it pulls a knockout word in their name or responsible for providing data binding capability. So these are the extra features it will automatically generate whenever you are getting a JavaScript functions. Next is, let's start with the jQuery. So jQuery is nothing but jQuery is a cross-browser JavaScript library. It is nothing but it is also JavaScript library. It is nothing. It is not extra than this. It is also JavaScript library that you can use to perform various functionalities such as finding, traversing, and manipulating HTML. But when we are using this one, so generally for a JavaScript, if you click on function, it should show some alert box. So that time we are using JavaScript. But if you are moving it into one particular paragraph, if you are moving it into your any other function, if you want to do some function, if you override a particular element, paragraph or a header, if you want to modify, so that time it's better to use your jQueries. It enables you to animate HTML element. HTML element means it can be images, it can be paragraph, it can be H1, H2, H3, or any content, or handle the events to make use of an application more dynamic and interactive, or making more interactive and more runtime changes pages. So that time it's better to use jQuery. To use the jQuery library in a view of your application by using the script element in the head section. Suppose if you are going to use any query or any of the JavaScript function, any jQuery, first thing is you should include it. So same like that we can do script slash jQuery.1.7.1.js. But here you are having 1.8.2. This is a recent version. Previously it was 1.7.1 version. But nowadays if you are going to use it, directly you can include 1.7.2.js. Any file you can include. And suppose if you are writing a jQuery, how to write it? Then this is very important thing. But there is a difference between your JavaScript and a jQuery. Whenever you are writing a jQuery, you should follow some rules. So jQuery provides the few function, predefined function, document.ready function to ensure that a heap of web application has been fully loaded before executing the jQuery. So generally we are going to write document.ready function. So that means what? So all these functions, whatever you are going to write a function, it should execute after that once your page is loaded. Once the document is loaded fully, then execute this function. So to modify that one, we are using document.ready. So the general syntax is whenever you are writing any jQuery, it should start with dollar symbol. Okay? Dollar after document. Document means it can be any of the name, okay, your file name or the element name or the ID. Suppose if you are giving ID for a one text, one paragraph or a thing. Suppose if you are giving that is actually this one document dot ready function. After that, you should open and close the brackets. Within this one, you are going to write a function. Okay. So always it should start with dollar. After that, it will have some function, okay, some function name, and inside the curly bracket you should specify after document ready what it should execute. So where dollar represents the starts of the jQuery. So dollar means it is a starts of the jQuery, and document.ready checks the readiness of the action performed on an application. When to execute that, it is going to control by document.ready functions. So how to create that will start. Start with it very simple. I'm going to use the same file. I'm not going to do any changes. I will use the same previously home controller, okay, index and a test script. So in a test script, previously I wrote this function with a JavaScript. Same like that, if you want to insert a jQuery also, same JavaScript file only you should include. Okay. So that's why I'm not going to create one more test script.js file. If you want to insert any of the new jQuery file, okay, so these are predefined functions. If you want to include any of the new jQuery functions, same like previously, you can go with the add new item and just go to JavaScript 1. You can give any name, JavaScript 1 or any name you can give. Previously we did not. I am not going to create any file. I will use the previous one. Previously we created test.function. No? I will use this function only, but the function code I am going to change it here. If you want to create a new one, you can create a new project. You can create a home controller. You can create an index page. Okay. Then we can.
Okay.
Ba't nandiyan yan? Akala ko sa loob ng function. Akala ko dito. Yung isip ko, per ba't sa loob?
Eh, gago pala.
Here's example only. Okay, so just take these two lines. One is I'll have a header. Okay, this is header, and I'll have one more button. I'll have with the value click to see the changes. Suppose if I click on button, I want to make some modification in this header, but I will do this thing by using Java. Okay, how to write it? So that I'll tell you. So just take the index, and in the index I have this two. HR means what? HR underscore means it's a horizontal line. If you want to use a horizontal line. Insert this line in an index. So you can use the previous one, not a problem. Okay, this simple HTML is setting one header and one button. After that, if I click on button, it should call up. You can observe IDs change header. So if you are clicking on change header, what I should do, so that I am writing it in a Java jQuery.
This is
So just see
MVC.
whenever if you are writing Java jQuery, it should start with dollar. Okay. So each function should call whenever once the file is loaded. So that's why I wrote document.ready function. Okay. So you can also after that it will open a bracket and it will close it. So that means from here to here it will come, these functions also it comes under document.ready. Suppose I want to add one separate function for each function. Okay, so I can write, for example, for you can observe in an index I am having one header. This is header. Okay. So actually this is what? This is h1. H1 is a header one element or a header one element. Similarly, input type for this I am giving change header is a ID. That means for each element or for each ID, I can give a function or I can write a function. So how to write a function? You can also change header. As change header means what? ID is actually, it is an ID, right? Change header is ID. So how I can write a CSS whenever if I writing hash change header is equal to I am going to write. So same formula here also. Hash change header dot change. That means if you click on that ID or that button, okay, so then what it should do? H1 dot HTML. That means your header element should change it to this header as change. Okay, what happens now? If you are clicking on change header, if you click on that button, the heading content, actually initially what I stored, this is a header. Okay, it will be changed to this header as change. The content is going to change it to this header as change. Okay, it's also right there. Your jQuery code. So, it will not go because I included one step. Okay, but actually whenever if you are going to add any jQueries, there is type of jQueries or anything, so you should include one more script. Okay, so these dollar symbol, hash symbol, these things are not defined in general scripts or in a JavaScript. To notify that, what you should do is in a script, okay, with this script, you should include this 1.8.2.3.js, whatever the file is that you should include. You can type here or just drag it as type that script, type and then
all of that, sir.
Plus 1.81. Then
Sir, All of the jQuery.
Not all, only one.
Only one.
1.812. First one will be there.
Okay.
1.812.js and 1.812.in. Just insert this 1.812.in.js. That's all. One file. It's a basic file.
Why do we need to?
Even the
Why?
minimum one?
Minimum. You can include maximum also. You can
Okay.
include the.
Little ko na. Wait sir. Why we need to include this?
This one.
Why?
Because I included this symbol, no? Dollar,
Yeah.
dot ready, dot HTML, dot link. What is the function of this one? What is the meaning?
That's.
It will not
I see.
identify.
Okay.
Actually, they define it. This jQuery 1.8 these functions.
I see. Okay.
That's why we go.
Ito yung mga functions.
So now we will go there.
Minimum.
Yes.
Select it. Now go now. Let's check
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So wala sa main.
Okay. So
Hindi,
you
yung
should
mga
include
ano
this.
yan, related
If
kasi.
you are writing any jQuery function, you should include this one. Okay. Otherwise, it will show you. It will not show you error, but you will not get a proper output.
Kasi yung functions nandun sa mga version ng jQuery.
Yung minimum. Minimum yan. Or minified. Ay. Wala na ako lang naman kasi. Ano? Meron. Shit.
From this header to some other content. So same like that you can do different functions. For example, next is in the same example I'll make the changes and have a 2 lines. Okay. Text to be disappeared and click to the inner button, click to hide the text. Okay. Suppose if I click on button, it should be done. Okay. The header one should not be displayed. So that one also I can make. So how I can make in a test.js, I made an instruction like same like your jQuery should start with document.ready function. But after that only these two button are changed. So button.click, that is means what? If you select the button tab, the button click, then h1.I slow. That means what? H1 means what? Header one. That is text to be disappeared. So this one is going to hide. Suppose now if I am going to run this. The text will be there. Suppose I click there. So that also you can write it in a check. So suppose you want to do like this. In a test script.js, in a Java query, modify this one. Just 2 lines. You have to modify this one. And in an index, just add h1 some data and add button with some content. That's all. It will add. So here I am not using as symbol because I am not using any ID. So directly for a tag and button tag, if you click button tag, it will be appear. So JavaScript 1, JavaScript 2, whatever you have created. After dot document ready function, so just modify like this. So just go to index. In the index page, just add that. Next one. Right. So So you can do so many operations. Your examples are in your book also. Once you type run the pack,
You need the irradiation. Ayan, kaysa
you play these two lines, you run the pack. Should go like this. You should test your medicine and then you go ahead and test. You can't miss product. And then button dot double click, double button dot mouse over. That means if you move your mouse on that one, if you want to do some content, so that kind of thing. Dot mouse over function, you can write like this. Or mouse out, suppose if you move your mouse out of that one. Okay, so what to do? You can use these keywords, dot key down. Suppose if you are using these type of functions, you can use those also. Not only this display click, with that this mouse over, mouse on, this function.
Pag-aralan.
Suppose if you move your mouse, you need to do something. So,
And sir, if I want to click, bring back the text. I want to bring back the text from this.
Reverse.
If I click it, it will gonna reverse.
Let's see.
Let's see.
if you can't text it, check whether H1 is displayed. If it is not, consider it. And write is a C# jQuery can write.
jQuery.
Add H1 dot display is equal to something. Yeah.
It's like we're gonna put condition.
You can add.